ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Glenn Beck, who can find a hole in his own head about any issue, and that's just his own issue. Suspicious special counsel is his concern, that all of a sudden they're getting what they want out of Merrick Garland. A special counsel has been assigned to the Hunter Biden case in the jurisdiction where it would be, and they're like, wait a second, and it's a Trump appointee, and and these motherfuckers just can't take yes for an answer. It's Glenn Blech. That's good. I like that. Glenn Blech. We'll call him that.
Let's go to Washington now. Oh, boy.
Excuse me. It's called the Swamp, and no one goes there except all the local politicians who apparently can't wait to get a job that requires them to be in D.C. more than their home district most of the year. Because, Washington is so out of touch. And they go there to prove it by being in Washington.
So we have now a
worker's shirt that you sell to try and drum up funds. A Blaze shirt. I mean, honestly, what is it? The Blaze got its own filling station now?
A special investigator, a special counsel.
I'm going to get annoyed, aren't I? I can feel it welling up. You feel it welling up, yeah.
Except he's not so special.
Well, he was appointed by Donald Trump, so, obviously that best people bullshit is, we now know that was ridiculous.
It's David Weiss. Who's David Weiss? The guy who just did the sweetheart deal. Well, wait.
What sweetheart deal?
Wait a minute. In special counsel is not supposed to be the guy who's already been doing the investigation in the government. It's a special counsel, somebody that comes from outside the government.
No.
And
they don't just hire strangers for this shit. That's very Trump, but no.
Then starts looking at what all of the other people have collected. He's supposed.
Yes, that's how it works. I didn't realize that. So we're all straight on that. That is now how special counsels work. It's that everybody drop what you're doing. We're bringing in an outsider, and he's going to review your shit apropos of nothing. Why couldn't we put the guy in charge who's been going through? He's too close to it.
Supposed to be somebody that's not connected to this at all. This is the guy who made the sweetheart deal. This is the guy who said, yeah, you know what? We're not going to look there. I tell you what, let's hold off. What time does the statute of limitations?
Statute. You fucking snowball.
Right. Now they've expired. All right, you can look into it now. That's that guy.
Very strange.
Again, it's very strange. I find the most strange thing about it, honest to God, the strangest thing about it is that he's a Donald Trump appointee. And apparently they've had no complaints up till this point, until after Trump left office. They apparently set this motherfucker on this beat a long time ago. Whoops.
It seems at the very least, it's a free pass to not have to testify to the House.
Yeah.
Right? So usually a special counsel would not have to go and testify to the House. Now he's sort of in that protected status. So the planned testimony that was supposed to happen here in September or October is now not going to happen, most likely.
Unless the Democrats or the Republicans stand up and say, enough is enough.
Yeah, that won't do it. They can't even sing the Eddie Murphy song, Enough is Enough. It would have the same impact.
Enough is enough.
Is that enough to do? Can they force? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
No, they cannot.
Force the law? I don't know.
Is that the law?
Yeah, it is.
So
no, it is not.
They can require him to come even if he's a special counsel.
No. I'm saying...
Stu caught Glenn talking out of his ass, and now Glenn's going to invert his talking point.
Let me see if I can find the...
find your... use the same technique you use with both hands in your ass. You'll come up empty.
I am saying that the law is that he has to be an outside of the government counsel. That's the way it works.
Is it outside of the federal government is how they're getting away with that essentially?
Yeah.
Because he's not, he's from Delaware. Trump appointed, by the way. That's the people keep bringing that up.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, why would they bring that up? I can't imagine.
It's
Do
a
you know
little
what
bit
that even
squishy.
means?
Yeah, it's a little squishy on that, but still, it's a point. Like, and I will say, like,
It is a point. It is the whole, I mean, between Eileen Cannon and this dude, shut the fuck up.
looking back at it, I tried to track this down a little bit this weekend, and I didn't spend a ton of time, so maybe I'm missing something on this.
I would like to remind you that these motherfuckers think this is the most crucial investigation of our time, that Joe Biden is the most corrupt politician ever to run the fucking country. He is attempting a Marxist takeover to destroy the currency and upend the dollar and give away the entire country to China. And it requires no more effort than, I don't know, I took through it this weekend. I was kind of reading it. I didn't, maybe I missed something. I don't know, but I wasn't really doing a thing. I don't know.
But the appearance that we got that this was a get out of jail free card for everything. We all got that impression, right? This was a deal. It all dealt with was the gun charges and the income tax charges. But what it meant was it's a free pass for everybody. Like, you just get off with that. And then they went to court, and the court asked Hunter Biden, what do you think this is? And he's like, well, this is it. All my charges are now clear, and this whole period of my life is now, I'm get out of jail free for that. And then they asked the government, and they said, what do you think it is? And he said, no, actually, it's just for these two charges, and this is ongoing. The only reason we really have the impression it was a get out of jail card for everything is Hunter Biden's attorneys. Right? Like, I can't find a place where the government said this was a get out of jail.
Which is weird, because who runs the government right now? Anybody know? And even I think this is the deeper thing. Does anybody know if indeed the guy who runs the government currently has a connection to Hunter Biden and might it might be assumed by certain members of the public that he would intervene on behalf of his son. And the exact opposite is happening.
They actually did say the opposite. When in court, the Hunter said, yeah, this is his attorneys. Yeah, let's get out of jail. And the attorney said, well, no, not exactly.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah,
and
that's the only thing I've seen.
So my impression.
Okay, so what the fuck? Why are you flipping Stu's argument? Okay, so Glenn's wrong, 180 degrees away from the truth. And Stu says something that's just relatively factual about the exchange in court. And Glenn tries to make it look like he's wrong and points out that exactly what he's saying. Fuck, man. I guess Stu's lucky he's dumb.
Of this being a get out of jail free card from the moment that deal was made is at least mostly based on Hunter Biden's attorneys saying it, which of course Hunter Biden's attorneys are going to say that. Why not? Why wouldn't you say it? And the media ate that up and reported it as if it was fact, but I can't find a point where the government said this.
Maybe David Weiss isn't so bad?
I'm trying to say, like, maybe.
Yes, that's exactly what he's saying, asshat.
This is the only way I can come up with it. And I think there are holes in this.
Look, this is Glenn's other things occurring to me for the first time because I really haven't thought it through and I live off a specific narrative. So therefore, any new information must be met with confused paranoia face.
Theory, because of what you were talking about with like delaying and how long this has taken and how they've been able to lock it down. But is it possible that Weiss didn't actually cut this sweetheart deal? He just gave him the deal, which I think you could still describe as sweetheart on just these two pieces of the investigation, right? Like you could say just like, for example, the gun charges, they basically shrugged their shoulders and said nothing was going to happen. Okay.
Also, does anyone think, and I like to hold on these one points, does anyone think that if this gun charge, all the details, exactly the same, let's say it's not Hunter Biden, it's Jason Miller, it's not even Eric or Don, do any of you think that these motherfuckers would give a shit about a gun charge like this, about anybody? Because I got news for you. They are definitely going nowhere toward, like, Trump and Don Jr. both have CCWs. They have or CCP. They have concealed carry permits from New York State, I believe. They probably have one in Florida too. I don't know if at this point, blanket federal ones maybe, but they all have concealed carry permits, all of them. The Trump family. You think when they were filling out the paperwork for that, they all said, I don't use any drugs? Do you think that at the time, considering glassy-eyed McSnorterfest, that's 100% accurate? Do you recognize there is not, they never throw up they do a lot of the whataboutism, like, can you imagine if Trump was blah, blah, blah? Well, he would be, if this was Biden, they'd blah, blah, blah. And they never do that about this gun charge, ever. By the way, there's a raffle going on in the Twitch chat for a NFT, by the way. Just saying. Exclamation point raffle allows you to, enter to win. There you go. Glassy-eyed McSnortfest. Am I wrong? That's what it is. Never knew impeaching Hunter would take so long. Well, that's the issue. Isn't it? But the point I'm trying to make is they'll back and forth about documents versus documents, and Trump will try this whole, like, all the boxes from Biden's time as a senator are at his alma mater, and nobody gives a fuck. Like, he's like, these boxes, they're not from the presidency, they're from his time as a senator. They've been there since he became vice president, and they sent all of his shit over there because he wasn't going to go back to the Senate after this. So he, as senators will do, gave or offered his senatorial papers to the political science wing of his alma mater, and they have custody of them, and they can go through them. And by the way, all vetted for classified details and classified information and all that stuff beforehand, but all within his senatorial position. So I don't know what they probably weeded out stuff in some of the committees that he was on. Probably took a little time, but everything else, like all of his correspondence to people and all of his back and forths and his writing on bills and committee notes about what he said like that, all that shit, that's what that is. But Trump's big thing is 1,800 there's 1,000 boxes everywhere, and they're Chinatown and Chinatown, get it? But they never do it with the gun. Do you ever notice that? They just never, and again, it's not even kid for kid. Anybody. They don't, because these motherfuckers they think, when Trump took over, one of the first things they did was remove the limits on mentally ill people having guns. Like, these motherfuckers want every schizophrenic domestic abuser to be armed to the fucking teeth. So the idea that they're somehow mad that a former drug addict wrote "I don't do drugs" on his or checked the "I don't do drugs" box on a form that they don't think should exist in the first fucking place is rich.
Right. Okay, just don't do anything bad for a few years and you're fine on the gun charges. The taxes, he paid him back. There's a slap on the wrist, but that was it. And I think
Glenn doesn't like this. Glenn Blech is not enjoying Stu pointing out normalcy.
You could describe that as a sweetheart deal on just those two things. But it's a ridiculous deal if it encompasses everything. The only people we're getting that evidence from seems to be Hunter Biden's attorneys, which obviously I don't trust at all. So I don't know, maybe there's an argument that he's not as bad. So I'm just trying to look for the positives here.
Okay, Trump appointed him, but he's still the deep state, just like every other Trump appointee. Glenn is now going to, I predict, defend the best people argument.
We're looking for the positive.
I
can't get past this. This is the actual U.S. code. An individual named as special counsel shall be a lawyer with a reputation for integrity and impartial decision-making.
Yeah, Trump put him in office. I think that disqualifies him right away.
Right? We don't.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Also, Glenn, on another note, fuck you, dude. Like, Stu was just pointing out how normal this dude is, but Glenn's just going on to trash this random dude who's been part of this process. And again, he's a Trump appointee. You're just shitting on him like, this motherfucker's a liar. Like, again, is there any... Does he even float rudimentary Christianity the rest of the time when he's not weeping in front of a pathetically small congregation trying to sell them prepper food for the fucking rapture, which I guess he's under the impression that none of them will be taken up in? Does he ever fucking hesitate to be a piece of shit to a random person?
We can argue that.
Okay, sure.
With the appropriate experience to ensure both that the investigation will be conducted ably, expeditiously, and thoroughly.
Expeditiously. It's a great website. It's a travel website but the pages move too fast for me.
And that the investigative and prosecutorial decisions will be supported by an informed understanding of criminal law and the Department of Justice policies. I don't think you got a problem with that one.
Mm-hmm.
The special counsel.
By the way, he says that way because the assumption is that he knows how the DOJ works. It works like a criminal enterprise that's going after Donald Trump.
Shall be selected from outside the United States government. Special counsels shall agree that their responsibilities as special counsel shall take first precedence.
Yes, he's a state officer. The federal government can use people who work at it. That doesn't mean they have to be in private practice.
In their professional lives, and that it may be necessary to devote their full-time life to the investigation, depending.
Unlike Stu glancing over the weekend.
On its complexity and the state of the investigation. So it says right in the code, shall be from outside the United States government.
Now, I guess their out would be the United States government refers to the federal government, right?
Hey, Stu's just... all right, what happened? What happened? Glenn, did you hog all the French fries when you went to Sonic drive-thru? Did you reach across and get your order before he got his? Is that... And it just rubbed you the wrong way?
And Weiss is not part of the federal government. He's part of the government of Delaware, right? So I guess that's their out.
Well, he's a federal attorney. He's the U.S. attorney.
And he was appointed by the U.S. government.
Right. He's
So,
appointed. That's part of the U.S.
No, it's a state position.
attorney. He works for the Justice Department in Delaware.
So I would, I would think that's a part of the U.S. government.
Yeah.
That's how I would count.
Why else would you be called a U.S. attorney?
Right.
Because it's the United States attorneys. They are all under a singular code, but they are assigned to specific states. And he has primacy because he's from fucking Delaware.
You're an attorney for the U.S. government. You don't get your paycheck from the U.S. government? What,
right.
Is that what?
Then every DA qualifies as that. Every AG qualifies that. State AGs, city DAs.
Right. I mean, there doesn't seem to be a legitimate out here. That seems to be what they're arguing.
Correct.
But I don't.
If the Republicans do not hold this, I mean, this is black and white.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is not.
No. It may be necessary to devote their full time to the investigation, depending on its complexity and the stage of the investigation. So he's coming in. This is saying we're going to appoint a special counsel.
No, that's not a clause that makes you we have to pick somebody who's a complete stranger to this fucking thing. And the stage of the investigation, you can ask somebody who's been currently working on an investigation if they could continue because it's going to be another 3 fucking years. Or, right? Or, no, my kid's graduating, my wife and I'm thinking about retiring, and this thing's going to go on longer than to pass my retirement. That kind of shit.
That comes in And then depending on
All right, this is such a dumb fucking hash around. It's aggravating.